And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Monday, January 25th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody. A rainy Monday. We welcome you to our program and hope you'll be here throughout the hour. Mondays we start off talking about Absolute Kubota. Now located at 1506 West Main in Lebanon. We've got T.R. Kirby here again this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I guess if you're taking the month of January, this will be your last time for 4 weeks, and then you'll be back in March, maybe. Is that the plan?
Yes, sir.
That's the plan. Well, we've got to always have a lot to talk about. Kubota has done so well, really, and really come so far from when they first came to this country, and one of the leading sellers of the products that you have now. And y'all got a lot going for you at 1506 West Main.
Yes, sir, we do.
What in particular you want to talk about today?
We're still offering the good 0 down, 0% financing for 60 months on most pieces of equipment. We're a full line dealership, anything from a little excavator to a 140 horsepower tractor, and we also carry a full line of hay tools and 0 turns. We also carry Exmark at 1325 West Main Street. Go see Jeff up there if you're in the market for an Exmark mower. Down at 1506, we're carrying all Kubota equipment and then parts and service for Exmark and Kubota. The full line of spring will be here before we know it. So if you're needing any service done on your mower or piece of equipment, come and see us. And then,
there's that old saying about the early bird gets the worm. If you can make yourself, go ahead and do it now. It's to your advantage to do it in a lot of ways.
Yes, sir, it is. Just make sure we can get the parts, and they're here before spring rolls around.
Right. When it's time to go, you'll be ready to go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But they do offer the 0% financing on the 0 turns as well. We have anything from a 42-inch 0 turn up to a 72-inch 0 turn.
Kubota. Now we've compared them before. It and Exmark, and Exmark may be the Cadillac, and Kubota may be the Chevrolet. I don't know, but unless you're just really particular about how it's all going to look, that Kubota is going to do a good job for you.
Yes, sir. Hearing I say all the time, if you want to make tall guys short, get a Kubota, because it's going to do it. It's got nice heavy blades on it that you hit a stick or two, it's not going to bend them. Hit the occasional rock that pops up here in Wilson County.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect it as bad as we would say an Exmark.
Well, but that service after the sale is very important too. And if it's not time for you to get a new one, but service has got, really you need an annual service on one of those machines. Even if you don't have a big yard or don't use it a lot, you still needs to have some service once a year, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes, sir, it does. That's what. If you don't use the hour limitations every year, we recommend you come in and just get a basic service done, and just keeps that fluids clean in that unit. We offer pickup and delivery, and usually on a basic service like an oil change, usually it can be done same day within 24 hours. So you drop it off, say, Tuesday at 10, it hopefully be back to you at Wednesday at 10.
Right. Okay. Well, that's great. But you do service after sale. You have some expert people there to take care of it. You've probably done a little bit of that, haven't you?
Yes, sir, I have. I've progressed through the ranks there, and I've worked in the service department. It's definitely a fast-paced environment. We try to get machines in and out as quickly as possible. That's like that quick service is what we're looking after for the commercial guys down to the residential customers.
Right. But since people aren't mowing right now, and it's even if you're in a hurry, you can get it, but you're probably nobody's in this big hurry now. Is it going to be come March or April?
Yes, sir. That's why we recommend going ahead and bring it in, let us check it over, so you don't have that catastrophic failure if there's going to be one in the springtime or summertime when it's in the heat of the summer and you've got 50 yards to mow.
Right. Well, you got some more I think you want to tell us about today.
Yes, sir. When you finance with Kubota, they require you take some form of insurance. You're more more than welcome to take your own insurance, but they also offer a K-TAC insurance. It's through a company out of Ohio that administer the insurance, and they're really good. It's a $250 deductible, and it covers accidental damage, glass breakage. The unit slides in a pond and sucks water into the engine. For 5 years, for 60 months, they pay full coverage insurance, full replacement costs. So say that unit down the line changes model numbers to update it, and it's a little bit more expensive. They're gonna pay you the full replacement cost of that and your implements that were on the tractor at the time in full for the first full 60 months.
Well, they of course making sure their backside's covered here, but it's a great help to you. Costs a little bit, of course, to have the insurance, but I would think you really want to be protected. That's what you want to do.
Yes, sir. It makes sure it gives you a peace of mind having that insurance there. For what it costs, it's kind of a no-brainer to us. I have it on my products as well. Even if you want to keep it, even if you're paying cash, they offer a yearly policy you can pay once a year. And then after you pay it off through financing, you can still choose to take that annual policy and pay it once a year and just have that machine under coverage.
Well, I'm sure you've got all the details. Anybody wants to know more, they can come by or give you a call probably, which most people do. And that phone number 615-449-6171.
Yes, sir.
So thanks for being with us today. Have a good February, and we look forward to seeing you in March.
You too.
All right, T.R. Kirby with Absolute Kubota, taking us to about 10 and a half after the hour. State Representative Clark Boyd is here this morning, and he's all set to go and tell us about what's been going on in the legislature. And we've got, I'm sure, a lot to talk about. Representative Clark Boyd, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and it's a rainy Monday, but rain is a blessing. Sometimes people don't think of it that way, but if we didn't have rain, it'd be a long dry spell.
Yeah, we've been through them before. The water table gets down, so I'm grateful for it.
Well, we're glad to see you this morning, and I understand that the special session, it did end Friday, did it not?
It did end Friday. There was some questions about whether we were going to have to come back this week, but we were able to get it wrapped up before lunchtime on Friday.
Are you basically pleased with what took place? I mean, I think if we paid any attention, we know Governor Lee called a special session, had to do with education and some things he didn't like, and hopefully make some remedies and improve things because of COVID is really where all this took place. But you went into session, Tuesday, I believe, and finished, or was it Wednesday?
We went in Tuesday and finished Friday.
Okay, so a short special session. What do you appreciate what got accomplished?
I do. The Zoom meetings that I had with various education leaders, superintendents, I think they got some of what they were asking for, probably not all, but I think there'll be we'll address some of the issues that they had when we get into the regular session. One of the things that they wanted, and I'll kind of go through them here, was that they wanted what's called a hold harmless with testing, and that really makes sense. We have we have issued hold harmless for testing for less things than COVID-19. So I felt pretty confident we would do that, and what that means is that because students have not been there all of this year, COVID-19 has at a minimum disrupted learning for a lot of students. We don't want poor testing performance to affect teachers' pay, to affect school scores, or to adversely affect students. So what we've done this year is we've said, let's continue to test. We'd like to have that data for purposes of seeing how the students are progressing, and to also learn how much COVID-19 has disrupted that. But we're not going to hold anybody accountable necessarily for that this year. And I think everyone was pleased with that. There's a group out there that wants to just dissolve testing altogether, and we heard from those people. But so that they got that. I don't know if I'd mentioned this, but there were a lot of people that held back their students this year from going into kindergarten, And that's already been recognized that next year you're going to have a very large kindergarten class and you're going to have a bubble for the next 13 years as they progress through the 12th grade. And so as a result, and some people who just chose to keep their students out and homeschool them this year temporarily, not that they've chosen that as the path for the rest of their students' K-12 career, it's just something they've done this year. Attendance is down, and the funding is affected by that. And so the superintendents that I had spoken with had said, we really need that addressed, and we think the logical solution is to go back and base it on last year's numbers until we can get into the 21-22 year, and we should have the numbers back up. And Coleman, I don't serve on any education committee, and I wasn't put on any ad hoc committee, so I don't know why, but that bill basically got tabled, and it's coming back. It will be addressed. I have the assurance of our leadership that we will take that up in the regular session, but for whatever reason, that one did not get passed in the special session, and I apologize for that. I know a lot of people wanted to see that happen. Some of the other things that came up, and at some point, if we need to stop for commercial,
well,
let me know.
Okay, let's do it right here.
Okay,
and then you won't feel intimidated or interrupted or whatever. You come back, we'll get into all of this. State Representative Clark Boyd is here. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:14. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota and Rental, fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day, servicing Exmark, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Finally looking a little bit better here on 40 westbound at Fessler's, where we had that earlier crash. They're still on the scene of that tractor-trailer crash. I believe it is there. It's an overturned tractor-trailer, 24 westbound at the 30-mile marker. That's in that portion of Cheatham County on 24 west as you head up towards Jolton. Still on the scene of an accident, 1600 block of Bell Road, South Nashville, that had some injuries. Edgeo Lake at Dover Glen, 2 cars are tangled up there. Coming out of Mount Juliet area right now, that's heavy, but moving on I-40 westbound coming past 840. Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies will be hosting Sleep with the Sharks March 27. All the details, Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Caring for a loved one is as natural as the weather. But just like the weather, one moment it's sunny, and the next, you find yourself in the middle of a storm. So when it came time to take care of my dad, I knew I needed help. A reprieve from the storm, so to speak. That's when I found the Pavilion Senior Living. They have expertise and experience to weather the storms in your loved one's life. And now I can rest easy. Thank you, Pavilion Senior Living. You should visit thepavilionseniorliving.com to find out more.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Coleman and Company, it's a Monday morning. State Representative Clark Boyd is here. Okay, we talked about the special session legislature, and if you just joined us late here, it convened last Tuesday. It went through Friday before noon. You ended that, so you'll be back in regular session, I take it, today, this evening, or is it tomorrow?
We're actually taking a 2-week break.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. I forgot. Okay. Yeah.
Every new General Assembly, we take 2 weeks off.
Right. Senator Pody reminded me of that Friday, and I'd forgotten. It didn't carry with me over the weekend. So, what are you doing for 2 weeks here?
Well, my office isn't moving, so a lot of people, that's what they do, is they pack up and move to different locations. Chairman's, there's some offices that are chairman's offices, some are the regular, and so there's a lot of shuffling around, and sometimes you'll have a freshman that moves into a chairman's office, and they're there temporarily till they figure out the committee assignments, and they get moved around, and some people just have a wish list of where they want their offices to be, and so I really like mine. So they let me stay, so I'm excited about that, not having to move. I hate moving. I hope to never move my house again either. For the record, I hope to live there the rest of my life. But so I'll just be here in Lebanon at my insurance office. Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to where we were when we went to the break here. There's evidently some things you like about this session, some you wish maybe had gone a little bit different. That's what I kind of gather from talking with you thus far.
Yeah. Well, there were just some things, and I'm not, having not served on any education committee, I get my information largely from teachers, administrators, and they told me what they were looking for. And some of the things that the governor brought up were not things that they had necessarily mentioned. So I don't, I haven't heard back in any negative fashion that they disliked anything. I think they wished that the funding thing was
Right.
addressed. But like I said, it is going to be addressed in the regular session. There was another piece of legislation that was floated, actually two of them. One of them was by our majority leader, and he really wanted to hammer down on some of these LEAs that are just not meeting in person. And we know that the data and the research proves that children need to be in school. Now, in our districts, the two here in Wilson County, and maybe I'm just saying this because I know them and I trust them, but I think Donna Wright and Scott Benson, I mean, they look at the data, they make their decision based on the number of cases. And so if they could be in session all the time, I know or if they could be in the classroom all the time, they would. I trust them, but there are districts in other areas that have never gone back. Like in Memphis, I mean, they're remote. That's all they have. That's all that they've done since COVID-19 hit. And we can't seem to get them to even attempt a hybrid model. And so there was a bill floated that basically said, if you don't go at least 70 days, we're going to start cutting your funding. And that bill finally got stopped. I'm not sure that was ever going anywhere, but we're just trying to find a way. We're using the carrot and we're trying to use the stick now to get some of these districts moving again. And then there was another piece of legislation that seemed like a good idea. A legislator out of Williamson County proposed it, and it basically said that some of his school districts wanted to do things a little bit different with the contract tracing, and they wanted to be in person more, but they were afraid of being sued. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to put into statute that you can't be sued for that if you choose to do that. And the problem is, when we first heard that, all of us said, yeah, that sounds great, let's put it in there. But here's the problem, Coleman. We've already addressed that. We passed legislation last year that said a school, a hospital, a church, a business, unless you're just grossly, willfully negligent or you do something egregious, you really can't be sued for COVID-19. And so anytime you're doing legislation, you have to be careful, because if you specifically name a certain group and isolate them and say they can't be sued, that it implies that others can. Uh-huh. And so although that seemed like a good idea, we ended up not going down that road. So those are the things that didn't pass. So here are the things that did. Let me get my notes here so I can look at them. So we did the hold harmless for testing, took care of that. Learning loss, and we've seen this year that a lot of students are struggling and because they're not in school. And so this would require the Department of Education to develop and administer learning loss remediation and student acceleration programs, which include after-school learning mini camps, learning loss bridge camps, and high-quality tutoring throughout the school year. The state would fully fund this, so none of this falls on the counties or cities. It would be fully funded for all priority students who enroll. The LEAs can offer up additional seats if they want to fund it. And there's actually money in there for the teachers, too, perhaps that are working over the summer, $1,000 a week to staff the learning loss summer camps or anything like that. And it also strengthens the third grade's reading retention policy. Now, a lot of students in third grade, there's data here that seems to indicate only 1 in 3 are reading on grade level. And as they progress throughout their academic career, if they don't catch up, it's almost a straight line. I mean, a lot of things happen. I had some notes here. I've got my paper shuffled up. But the more likely to need welfare, the more likely to be incarcerated. And we actually heard someone mention that they went into a prison and found people and asked them, and almost none of them could read anywhere near on grade level. And so we know that that's important for finding a job. It's important for anything out there. And so we're third graders can be held back now for that. And so we're trying to get them plugged in. And
that's been quite a bit in the news. There's been quite a bit of talk about that, and evidently we've really hit on a need here that we really need to spur up our efforts here for reading at the third grade. Someone said you learn to read through the third grade, and then you read to learn afterwards.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, Coleman, that's accurate. And another component of that is another one called the Tennessee Literacy Success Act. And again, it goes back to reading proficiency for third graders, but it moves it to a phonics-based approach, which is how I learned to read. It's probably how you learn to read.
It is.
Now it's largely sight words. And so sight words are good. I mean, to a certain extent, it's like learning your multiplication tables. You just memorize them. But if you don't understand how that word is put together, then when you encounter a word that you don't recognize, and I see that sometimes with my kids who are learn through sight words, I'm kind of like, well, spell it out. And once they recognize it, they know what it is. And so it would at least have a phonics-based foundation. So I think that's pretty good. I haven't heard any pushback on that particular issue, but it would require LEAs to administer a universal reading screener in grades kindergarten through third grade. And again, it's provided to the districts free of charge, and the screener can be used by the districts to satisfy multiple testing requirements, including dyslexia screening and other types of things. And so, we got that done, and then the final thing here that we passed was dealing with funding. This would be a $535 million in state dollars to administer the literacy program. $81 million is appropriated to establish and support the learning loss remediation and student acceleration program, and then $42.9 million is to be used to increase teacher salaries. January 1st through June, or January 2021 through June of 2021. So it's basically built into that as the teacher pay raise.
Well, if we're going to ask the teachers to go above and beyond, which I think this is doing, and especially if you have some periods of summer school, or if you're staying late in the day or the weekend, whenever that might be, they deserve some compensation for that, I think.
They do, and there was a discussion that comes up all the time. I mean, one of the first things I heard when I got in the legislature was the problem where the state says, hey, we're going to give every teacher a 4% pay rate. Let's come up with some number. And then you see teachers and they didn't get it.
Right.
And so it's actually kind of hard for the state to force the LEAs to give it. There's an instructional component of the BEP. And when that money is put in there, some school districts employ more teachers than the state requires. So let's just say there's 10, the state says you have 10 teachers. So we give enough money to give 10 4% pay raises, but the school district actually has 20 teachers because they need it and they've got the money. Well, then that 4% becomes a 2% as you give it to everyone. And so, and in some cases, you'll have an LEA that said, we really need to hire some more nurses. So they use that money for nurses rather than giving a pay raise. And last year I passed a bill that basically said, when we put money in there, you have to report back the next year how that money was spent. So we're trying to zero in on how we can better give pay raises. And some of my districts didn't like that because they felt like we were micromanaging them. But we just want that information. And so this one, there was a lot of discussion around how do we make sure it gets into the teacher's paycheck. And that same thing came up again, that sometimes districts employ more teachers than the state is funding, and it's going to spread thinner in those cases. And it is what it is.
I can understand if you got, say, especially one of the what we'd call a poor county, and they need some school buses or they need some repair work on some buildings or something, and this is where our real need is, they think, but the learning is the main reason they're going to school.
Yeah. Well, and they're not supposed to use it when we do it. They can't use it for buildings or things like that. But there's a lot of stuff they can use it for that they're not doing anything wrong. It's just not in the spirit of what we intended the money to do. And so we're trying to iron that out. So we've got all that going. I'm trying to think what else to tell you. So we got our committee assignments. I get to chair the business and utilities subcommittee. Very excited about that. different committees are like subjects in school. And there are some subjects that you can do, but you don't love, and there are some that you actually are really excited to go to. And I could not have built myself a more fun committee than that. I'm very pleased and excited. What I did last year was consumer and human resources, and I'll be honest with you, the stuff that we did in there, it's important. It's very important. But I enjoyed this committee that I'm now chairing. I enjoyed it more just as a rank and file member last year than I did the committee that I chaired. So I'm looking forward to getting a chance to chair that. Anything business related out there. So it's a big it's wide open, and then utilities as well. So I'm excited about that. I'm still on transportation, and I am now on health. So I've never served on health committee before. So I'm interested in that, and then I'm also on the fiscal review committee. So,
well, sounds like you got your hands full.
Yeah, it's going to be busy. One thing I was going to point out, the numbers, the COVID-19 numbers, are we're seeing as far as number of hospitalizations and new cases, it is dropping off. I get an update each day from the Department of Health, even on Sundays, and I was looking at it yesterday, and just the graph here. I mean, it is our number of hospitalizations have dropped down. They peaked, I don't know, a week or two ago. It's hard for me to see because when I print it out, the font's so small. But the numbers now, as far as hospitalizations, are back to what they were before Thanksgiving. I mean, it looks like it's fallen off a cliff. And so this is really good. And I don't know. I've speculated. The vaccines, I don't believe there's been enough of them for them to have really made an effect yet. I really think that to a certain extent, we're starting to see some herd immunity. I'm meeting more and more people that have had the virus. And so in Tennessee, we've had, if you go all the way back to the beginning, we've had 708,000 people with the virus at some point. We only have 54,382 as of yesterday that are positive with the virus, but we've had 708,000 that have gone through it, and so I feel like we're doing something's working, and so I hope these vaccines keep coming out. If you need a vaccine, let me give you the number.
All right,
you can call 1-866-442-5301. As always, my office is available. If you are having any problems or you didn't have a chance to write that number down, you can look me up, and my number is 615-741-7086. We're there to help. One of the biggest things we're doing right now is trying to point people in the right direction with this and helping people with unemployment claims is still a big deal.
We've gone over time just a little bit, but thanks so much for being here. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Coleman.
All right. State Representative Clark Boyd, that's part one of Coleman and Company. Keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:32. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, and they've got the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. It's $49.95, 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal. Tire rotation and safety check, $16.73. West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic still very busy out here on 65 southbound coming down through parts of Madison. Still working that tractor-trailer crash out there in Cheatham County. It's 24 westbound at the 30-mile marker. Just to be on the safe side, extra time as you head towards Clarksville on I-24 this morning going westbound. Finishing an accident there at 1600 Bell Road. It did have some injuries. Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies will be hosting Sleep with the Sharks March 27th. All the details, Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
The Farm Bureau Expo is your premier location for an event of any scale, making meeting in the middle easy and accessible for event planners and guests. The Expo proudly participates in the Tennessee Pledge to allow our guests to attend events with confidence. For booking details or to explore events to attend, visit farmbureauexpo.com or check out our Facebook page at Farm Bureau Expo. We look forward to seeing you at the Farm Bureau Expo in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Have you heard the latest news about Exmark lawnmowers? The brand picked 2-to-1 over any other brand? Exmark is now honoring all police, fire, EMT, and military with the Exmark Honors Program. Receive up to $1,500 off on select models if you're a current or former police, fire, EMT, or military personnel. No better time than to step up to an Exmark. Come see the team at Absolute Kubota at 1325 West Main Street in Lebanon.
Keep the umbrella handy today. Heavy rain and a few thunderstorms are in the forecast. A few of these storms could be on the strong side with winds being the main threat, so stay weather aware. Highs today will reach the low 60s. By Tuesday, we do dry out with highs in the low 50s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part 2. A Monday morning, time for us to talk about Rocky Williams, Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram without Juliet. Billy Mullinax is here as always. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And how are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Rainy Monday.
Rainy Monday, but it's still a beautiful day, Coleman.
It is. It really is.
It's a beautiful day.
We always appreciate you being here. And let me tell everybody, Billy Mullinax is the general manager for Rocky Williams. You've done a lot in your life, ran a restaurant and working 7 days a week and overtime and all of this. I mean, it's been a piece of cake compared to the restaurant business, I think.
It really has been, Coleman. It's just a lot different, a lot less hours for sure. And I'm thankful because as you get older, you certainly don't feel like working more hours. But it's been a good transition and a good switch for me.
Well, he has the nickname, at least with some people, of no haggle, and that's because at Rocky Williams they have no haggle pricing. Everybody pays the same great low price. They price their cars and not their customers. Isn't that wonderful?
That is a wonderful thing, Coleman. I mean, it's a wonderful thing when you can go buy a vehicle just like you would a loaf of bread.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's about the best comparison. When you go in a grocery store, when you go in most places to purchase something, you don't go in and start negotiating because if you did that with everything you did, think of the stress level that you would have. And if people just think about the stress level that typically you have when purchasing a vehicle, because you're never quite sure if you got the best deal that you could have gotten. And at Rocky Williams, you know for a fact that nobody, and I mean nobody, couldn't have bought that vehicle for $1 less than you did.
Well, that just makes it fair for everybody. It takes all that negotiation out. It speeds up the process tremendously for some people.
Well, absolutely, Coleman. I mean, you can literally be in it, buy a car, be in and out, definitely in an hour. We have had it occur, and I think the fastest I've ever seen one from start to finish was probably 31, 32, 33 minutes. But definitely in an hour, if you know the vehicle that you're wanting, you can be in and out in an hour. In most cases.
Well, we've got to mention the website because a lot of people start there. The entire inventory of new and pre-owned cars is at RockyWilliams.com.
Might even see your neighbor there, Coleman.
Oh, I have to laugh. We've been doing this for so long, and somebody else started it, but we've continued it.
We've just continued it on, hadn't we?
Might see your neighbor there, RockyWilliams.com. But you do have a good website. Oh,
we do.
Mayor Hutto, you got something to add to that?
I just want to say that guy that got that car in 23 minutes, he didn't spend any time looking at the aquarium.
33 minutes.
33 minutes.
That's right. He didn't.
He didn't spend any time looking at the aquarium because that's going to take a good 15 minutes.
It does take a little bit. If you start, it's mesmerizing almost. You get to walking around it and looking at all the different fish and the different crevices that they've got to go back in and hide. And you're absolutely right. He did not look at the aquarium.
Sorry to interrupt.
But a lot
That's
of people
all right.
do. A lot of people do it. It is a good conversation piece and even an attraction for especially some of the smaller.
Absolutely, Coleman. I mean, there's nobody else right around here. No other dealerships I know that have a 3,000-gallon aquarium in their showroom. Or I've never seen one around here, so I don't think there is. But it is. It's a calming. What we wanted to create, Coleman, when we built this building is a non-industrial type feeling. We wanted people to feel welcome and it to be warm and feel like you're, I don't want to say going to grandma's house because nothing kind of matches that, but but like you're going to see family, and
a little homey or something.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right, and that's the type of environment that we've wanted to create there, Coleman.
Well, I think you've got it, and you have more and more people coming to, and you've told stories after story about people coming from miles away. I mean,
We
even,
have.
even a few thousand miles a time
Yeah,
or two.
the farthest we've ever had was back a few years ago. Somebody from Alaska bought a Jeep, flew in, and drove it back home. So
They knew how much they were going to pay when they before
that's
they came.
exactly right, and I think that was a lot of the point. Most people, Coleman, don't like to go through all that negotiating, and they really appreciate the way that we do business. There's dealers out there that will beat our price, Coleman. Absolutely, they will, especially if it gets close to the end of the month and they're needing numbers, and sometimes they do it just to do it. But that's okay, because we're not going to change what we do because of somebody else taking a car sale from us. We're gonna keep the course and keep our integrity, and we're not going to deviate on our price. But we start and finish with a great price on every person.
Well, we're just about time for us to quit. But when's the automotive month end?
Ends next Monday, Coleman.
Next Monday, the 31st of January.
Well, I think that's the first, isn't it?
No, next Monday is the first.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
believe that's the
Sunday's
first.
the 31st.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. So when does it end?
Monday.
Monday. All right, on the 1st of
Monday,
February. All right.
Monday the 1st.
I stand corrected here. But anyway, we'll see you next Monday, and we'll talk about that.
We'll do that.
Thank you so much. Billy Mullinax, General Manager for Rocky Williams, Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet, 600 Pleasant Grove Road. We're 20 before 8 o'clock. County Mayor Hutto is with us, and Mr. Randall Hutto, good morning to you.
Morning to you, Mr. Coleman.
It
and
is good to see you as always, and I told
Yes,
you
sir.
you really look spiffy this morning. I even asked you where you're going to preach, but
You know, I hate to even tell this on air, but this is a hand-me-down suit, which is a good-looking suit.
Boy, it is.
From Mr. Partlow. And
okay.
one of his sons allowed me to have it, and he decided to move on to something a little better, and so I take the hand-me-down. So I'm always thankful for the Partlow crew. They take care of me in ties and suits.
All right. Well, how you been?
Not bad, not bad. Did you have a good Christmas?
Well, I'm doing fine so far. No COVID.
That's good.
Which is when you get my age,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see. And by the way, I've got to mention here. I did not mention this last week, but Fred Van Hook
Yes.
died. A wonderful businessman here for a long time in real estate, a singer, a real important person at Emmanuel Baptist Church and
Yes.
others, and did make the visitation Saturday, and we just appreciate the good example that he set and all that he did for our community.
You know, you're
You knew
exactly
him
right.
Quite well.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, Mr. Fred was an icon, as you said, at Emmanuel for sure, but around the county and hereabouts, with his singing and stuff, they had at the Capitol many times. And, we've lost other folks like Julian Sampson and, Byron Barnes from Watertown. And, yeah, it's been tough. Jim Kidwell lost his mom, Martha Kidwell, that was a longtime librarian there. And so it's been a tough time for a lot of people. And, and we still got a little ways to go, but I do see a lot at the end of the tunnel. I heard that Representative Boyd talking about our numbers are a little better, and I believe that to be true. We do as a chance to sit on the hospital board meeting and listen to them talk a little bit, and they're a little more positive. Of course, flu's picking up a little bit as well, so they're still juggling and battling. But as we talk, and I'll talk just a few minutes about the vaccine rollout if I can.
Yep.
We're in the 75 and up right now. That 75 and up is a large group of people when you think about a county having 140,000 folks in it, and 75 to 100 or ever how long they're living. And so that part is a pretty good undertaking right now, but they're doing and clipping off right around 600 a day. Of course, it's at College Hills right now. But I will say this, as they continue to move forward, there are several other places that have been certified by the state, hospital being one. There's some other pharmacies that have been certified that will before long help in this vaccination distribution. As we get more vaccines here, now they'll stay on the same playing field. For example, our next move will be 70 and up, okay, and teachers. The teachers are going to be done at the schools with the help of the school nurses, so that's a good thing. As you know, we've already worked on the long-term care facilities and nursing homes by contracted pharmacies to take care of that. Our first responders and our healthcare folks have been taken care of. So we are working that, and of course the second dose has started now. So when you go to College Hills, when they tell you to go and get your vaccine, of course you can only go by appointment. It's 12:30 to 4:30 every day, but they will call you. If you're on a waiting list and you haven't heard, just hang in there because they will call you as long as you've got a confirmation. If you have any question, just call me. Just call our office or call me. I've had people call me, and we'll double check and make sure that you're on there. But if you got a confirmation email, then you are on there. They will give you a call. They have 2 lines going out there now, one for the first dose and one for the second dose. Second dose runs a little quicker right now because they just going to take you in, get your second shot, and you move on. Not a lot of paperwork to be done. They are scheduling your second dose now when you get your first shot, which is a good thing because as we started this thing out, when you got your first shot, they said, hey, we'll get back with you. So they were having to call you. Okay, so that was taking up time. So then they developed a QR code that you could scan your phone with that would help you go right to a website where you could set it up and they didn't have to call you. If you wanted to do that, if you didn't want to do that, they would still call you. And then now they've even speeded that up by saying, hey, when you come through and get your shot, we're going to go ahead and schedule you right then. So we've grown with the process, and that's been a good thing. So I do believe once you get there, it's downhill. It's really been good. No waiting out in the cold. You're in your car. The lines are not long. They're bringing them in every 15-minute segments. So that's a good thing.
Well, is that about it for that?
Well, yes, sir.
It is time for us to take a break.
Okay.
County Mayor Randall Hutto is here. A lot more to discuss when we come back here on Coleman and Company FM 98.9.
And it's 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota and Rental. Fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day. Servicing Exmark, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's still very busy out here as they continue to work that truck crash in Cheatham County. It's 24 westbound at the 30-mile marker. Just to be on the safe side as you head towards Clarksville, give yourself extra time up through that section of Jolton on 24. Again, because of that wreck over in Cheatham County. Westbound traffic there at the 30-mile marker, 24 west at Haywood Lane. We just saw a crash there a few minutes ago, 300 block of Harding Place. I-40 still busy westbound at 840 coming out of Wilson County. Check out the Andre Chicken Sandwich now available at Prince's Hot Chicken. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Do you know why Rocky Williams Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Mount Juliet sells so many cars, trucks, SUVs, and muscle cars? Well, it all starts with a simple idea. Why not give everyone a hassle-free shopping experience for their new or used vehicle with no haggling, no negotiating, and no runaround? Every vehicle on the Rocky Williams lot is marked down incredibly low with the price posted on the window. You're treated with fairness and respect every time. No pressure, just a friendly, warm, inviting staff dedicated to finding the exact vehicle you need. So Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram has become the original no-haggle, one-price dealer. Go online to rockywilliams.com to see the incredible deals yourself. Every car and truck is listed with a no-haggle low price. This is for real, and you're gonna love it. People drive for miles to get some of the lowest prices in America on their new or used cars or trucks. Go to rockywilliams.com or come on over to our brand new spacious dealership next to Walmart in Mount Juliet.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. County Mayor Randall Hutto, his monthly visit here, and I don't think I have to thank you this morning, but I do. I appreciate all my guests, and especially the regular ones we have on a regular basis. I don't have to call every time. You just know this is the Monday you're going to be here. You show up, and I think it's wonderful. We appreciate it.
Well, and I tell you, we appreciate being able to be here and be on your show. Your show is something everybody anchors to hear what's going on in the community and in the county, and so that is a big deal. It gives us a chance to get it out. MJ's been gracious to let me be on her morning show some,
right.
and so that's been good to get the word out because people are out there and they're hungry for, especially during the times that we live in. Hey, what's going on and how can we plug in? And so if it wasn't for your radio show here. And what MJ does. I mean, it's just impossible because, we try to go to the newspapers and stuff. They've kind of cut out their times of circulation. It's not like it used to be where you had one Monday through Saturday, And so, therefore, getting that paper out is a little bit different. So we do, in our office, Brooke Driver does a tremendous job along with Sarah and Susan with getting stuff out on the media. Not everybody does that. Not everybody sees it when it comes out. So I really do appreciate being here. Thank you for allowing us to be here. I'm going to go ahead and cover the county commission meeting first, and then I'll go back and cover kind of what happened during the month if we have time.
Sounds great.
So tonight for the county commission meeting, of course, it's going to be on channel 198, and we are working to make that broadcast better. I know I have several people that kind of scout for me and look at it. Our internet feed has not been as good. And so, therefore, when we do the rebroadcast, it's really great. But it's that live feed that people have had a hard time with. We are working every month to try to get that better. And, of course, you do it once a month. So, therefore, whatever, it takes another month for you to get back and get a better try it. But I'm hoping that this month will be better. We did a sole dedicated internet line to that. So let's see what happens there. Commissioner Fields will have the prayer and pledge for tonight. We do have a consent agenda where we'll have a speed limit set for Ossip Mill Road at 25 miles an hour. There's a line item transfer in the consent agenda for stormwater, $2,500. That's a vehicle deductible that had to be put in there, and a small line item transfer in the drug court from going from travel to rental that they're going to use there since it didn't do much traveling this year. Tom Brashears will defer the rezoning for tonight because it did not get its proper public notice in the paper, so we will defer that one until next month. We're going to ask for confirmation for 3 Sports Authority board members. That will be Mr. Andy Bond, Mr. R.D. Denny, and Mr. Jeff Gannon to serve on that for us for another term. We will appoint 1 alternate member of the BOZA. Mr. Howard Blades comes every month just in case one of the members don't show up, so we'll definitely have a quorum there. The Ag Extension Committee appointments will be deferred until the new director is hired. Miss Ruth retired.
Right.
And they had sent over, there are 3 really appointments that are up for that. They had sent over 1 for a commissioner, but didn't send the other 2. So the interim director called and said, hey, or sent me an email and said, hey, let's put that off until the new director gets there, and therefore we'll be able to make all 3 of those appointments at one time. Commissioner William Glover that chairs the Judicial Committee, will present the Chief Judicial Director tonight to the Commission for appointment there. And so they have been through the process there, and they'll make that announcement tonight at that meeting. We do have resolutions tonight. We will approve the county road list. They add, all the new roads of subdivisions that have been built out, and then, of course, they build them to our specs, and then they turn the roads over to us for us to take care of. So our road miles grow each year. Yeah. They also turn in a 5-year maintenance plan each year, too, that says, over the next 5 years, these are the roads that will resurface. They never really put those in order because they kind of move from place to place and make the smoothest transition as possible, so they're not just, really traveling long distances across the county and spending more time moving equipment than they do paving. So that's not in any particular order, but they do have a plan for a 5-year improvement plan. They will set the salary for the new judicial commissioner at $68,500. There'll be a resolution to order a new fire truck for the new fire station that we're building on Central Pike in Mount Juliet. So that's been through committee. That's $494,000 for that particular truck, and so that'll be ordered. It takes about 12 months for it to come in, about the same time it takes to build the station. There will be to approve the land purchase tonight for those 2 new stations. The one on Clemens Road, the lot there was about, or the 2 acres or so, was $100,000 for that one. And then we got the one on Central Pike for $50,000. Both of these, the land appraised for a lot more than that, but they've allowed us to have it at that price, and then we'll try to give them a tax write-off as a credit, which we appreciate them helping us as well on that. And then we'll also have a $3,000 approval there for the appraisals. We had to have both pieces of property appraised. And so that'll be a $153,000 resolution at that particular time. There is a stormwater new truck that will be bought at this time, approved tonight. It will state $43,973.10, but they'll amend it on the floor because they bought it off a state bid at $30,050. The Planning Commission tonight will be a resolution there to add $3,000 to their budget from the fund balance for legal notices. Again, that cost had gone up to promote or publicly let people know what's going on in the planning department. The PEG channel will need another $1,000, and that's for that internet service provided for that better picture on 198. Judicial Committee will need then to also to bring their previous salary up to $68,500, so they'll need to add $8,226 to what they used to pay the director there. So that'd be a line item transfer as well. And then IT needed $470 to complete the microphones that we're putting in the commission system. They had enough on the first one, but it kind of ran over just a little bit. County buildings will need $66,779 to complete the Mount Juliet Clerk's Office as we went through codes and stuff for there. There'll be a resolution for the approval of the contract for the Clemens Road Station, which is known as Station 12, and a contract approval for the one on Central Pike, which is Station 14. And then a resolution to the state to ask Representative Lynn, Representative Board, and Senator Pody to help us to make us whole in the property tax that was lost during the March 3rd tornado. That is $834,488.38. It will ask for hopefully some help there to recover what we lost in that area. And that will kind of conclude.
Well, let me ask quickly that this you're asking for from the tornado, is that kind of standard thing? Or?
That happened and was set in precedence with the Gatlinburg fires.
Okay.
When they had that happen to them, they kind of went together and said, hey, look, we've lost this. Of course, we've lost other stuff too, but could you help us? And the state was very generous and did help them. And so several counties are going together, Putnam, Davidson, and Wilson, in this case, for this particular resolution. And we had to pass a request. You might say, we actually did that last year, and of course they didn't meet that much, right. And so therefore they said, let's put it off to this year, and I'm hoping that that we're able to gain some revenue back from that.
Well, that's maybe chicken feed for the state, but it's quite a bit for the county.
Yes, sir. It's money that as we go in and we try to have a very frugal budget, and so we count on that. That's what we make 170 properties that we said we can't tax those people. They lost everything, and right. So they can't pay it. But we count on that money to provide the services, and so that's where we hope the state can help us. And I'm sure everybody thinks, of course, chicken feed is probably true. That's small dollars for them, but it is very important for us.
Well, that might not be a good analogy, but that's kind of the way I am sometimes.
Yes, I'm with you. I understand, and so that is important. So hopefully we get some good consideration there. Any other questions about the committee meeting tonight?
Not really. What else you got for us?
Well, just kind of going over kind of what happened through the month, if we can, and just so everybody knows, we do have a lot of meetings that we go to keep us informed on the vaccine and on the virus. We have there's a state command center meetings that meet. Joy Cooper from the WEMA director normally heads this one up for me as he listens in as a state command center, makes those broadcasts, sometimes twice a week to kind of give us an update. We have COVID task force meetings here when we need to in the county that involves our county health board, really. We have a call today with the governor, and he will talk to the mayors about whatever is on his mind and where his plans are. We do have the hospital meeting. So those are things that we really do our best to keep ourselves informed, and then we do all we can to keep the public informed. And as I say many times, we don't run the health department, but we do feel like we're a partner with them. We want to help them and help get the word out. They are juggling, as you know, I think it's, excuse me, 8:30 to 10:30 every morning at the Ag Center. They're doing testing still. 5 days a week, and then of course they're doing the vaccinations from 12:30 to 4:30 every day at College Hills right now by appointment only, and so they're still doing their regular job at the health department. So there's a lot there. We talked about getting information out. I've already talked about thank you for being here today, and MJ for what she's allowed us to do. Brooke Driver in our office puts a ton of information every day on our website. So, if you want to sign up, and we just ask you to go to our website under the COVID tab, and you'll find out. People will say, well, how will I know when it's, the next phase is 70 and above, and teachers, how will I know when it happens? I don't think you'll have a problem, because once that starts being talked about, it really spreads like wildfire, just like it did at 75 and above. But when you have any questions, call Brooke or Sarah in the office, and they will definitely take care of you. Sarah has been working hard with the rules booklet. We redo that midstream because so many of those committees change, and so she's proud to have that done in hand to our commissioners tonight. She's also finishing up on the Governor's Volunteer Star Awards, and those are taking pictures this week. And again, I encourage anybody, that's kind of a year-round project now. If you know somebody that's volunteering that needs to be recognized, please get over to Sarah Davenport in her office, and she will take care of that. She's also landed, again, we didn't get the chance to run the St. Jude Marathon, but Famous Footwear came through and said, hey, we still want to donate $5,000 to St. Jude. So we had that picture last week. And then R.J. Coleman, which was always a partner in that, is going to do some as well. Not sure exactly how much they are doing. They were pledging $5 per rider before. So since we didn't have it this time, we'll just wait and see kind of what happens on that. Had a chance to be in the Martin Luther King March, and that was a large turnout this year. We did do our bond rating call for the money that we're about to borrow for the jail, and or that we borrowed for the jail, and hopefully we'll sell those bonds the 26th of January, which is coming up pretty quick. So therefore, hopefully that bond rating will be good. Let you know next month how that's tomorrow. Out. That's tomorrow, yeah. And so hopefully that'll be good. We should know today or tomorrow what the rating was, and we hope that's a good one. Other than that, Coleman, I'm going to be quiet and let you.
Well, look, it's 2 seconds till 8 o'clock. You're finishing right
on time.
How about that?
That's good.
Thanks so much. We'll see you next month.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
County Mayor Randall Hutto, that's it for a Monday. And until tomorrow, I wish you a magnificent day.